Hello learners, a very good morning to you all. Topic for today's discussion is product life cycle, and it can be helpful for the students of BCom, MCom and BBA retailing. In the previous sessions we have discussed about new product development, and we discussed what is a new product, what comes under the scope of new product, whether it is entirely new to the world or entirely maybe new to the company only, maybe a major or small modifications in the product, and then you are trying to show it is a new product. So what means new product? We also discussed about the reasons for launch of new product, and we discussed about the innovation in marketing, why or how innovation is important if you want to go for new product development. We also talked of the kinds of innovations that is there, and then we discussed about the steps in new product development process, various techniques for generating new product ideas, and factors influencing new product development process, and also the reasons for failure of new product. So basically we try to discuss about all the aspects of new product development. So when a product is new, that means you are going to launch a product. So now the important question that comes into the mind is, what is going to be the fate of that product? For how long that product is going to survive in the market? Is it going to succeed, or is it going to fail? That becomes very, very important. So keeping that in mind, today's topic is product life cycle. So in this session, we'll try and figure out what is product life cycle, what is the relevance of product life cycle analysis, why do companies do it. We'll also talk of the various stages of product life cycle, which are the 4 stages of product life cycle, what are the assumptions and various marketing strategies that are used in the different stages of product life cycle. So if we talk of the concept of product life cycle, it is basically, it has been taken from the product life cycle theory, which is primarily an economic theory, and it was developed by Raymond Vernon to study the observed pattern of international trade. In this theory, it was suggested that in a product's life cycle, all the inputs required for the manufacturing of that product, it comes from the country of origin where the idea of developing a new product has been originated or where it was invented. But once it is manufactured, once it is launched in the market, and if the product is accepted and welcomed in the market, then it reaches the world market. That means it crosses the boundaries of the point of origin and it reaches the world market. And production gradually moves away from the point of origin, because suppose say for example there are various multinationals whose manufacturing units, they have their manufacturing units in various parts of the globe, in various countries. So sometimes the product is imported by its original country of invention. It is so much accepted in the global markets, and it is the manufacturing of those kinds of products is it is spread so wide across that even the country of invention, country of origin is importing the product. So the product life cycle analysis, which is used by the marketer, the very concept of product life cycle, it has come from the theory, this economic theory, product life cycle theory. So why does a marketer do product life cycle analysis? Because it helps to study the degree of product acceptance by the market over time, which includes major rise or fall in sales. As I said, you have developed a new product as a strategy, right? As a product mix strategy, you have developed a new product. Now, you want to ensure, and we have also discussed in the previous sessions that many new products, they fail instantly, right? So as a marketer, you would not like to have that. You will never be willing to look for that kind of a fate of a product that you have launched in the market. So this product life cycle analysis, it helps the marketer to understand how the market is going to accept and how the market is going to welcome the product so that it has the longevity, right? It describes a period over which an item is developed, brought to market and eventually removed from the market. See, whenever the project is launched, even if it is a successful one, even if it is liked or welcomed by the market, by the audience, by the customers a lot, still it cannot go on forever and ever, right? Because market is always changing, market is very dynamic in nature and it changes, taste and preferences of the consumers are changing, the external environment is changing. So accordingly, the product also, it cannot be in the same pattern, in the same form, with the same architecture forever. So it is not perpetual. Companies use product life cycle analysis to create strategies to sustain their product's longevity or change it to meet with market demand or developing technologies. Technologies are also advancing, every passing day. So, to keep pace with the developing technology also, sometimes modifications in the products, etc., they are required to be made. So, product life cycle analysis helps in that as well. Now, what is product life cycle? So, as we have discussed, that it is based on the fact that newer, more successful products push older ones out of the market. Every time some new kind of product is there in the market, and in all likelihood, the new kind of market which is launched, if it is accepted by the market, if it can bring customers delight, it will push out, it will phase out the older products which were earlier successful, right? Product life cycle is the length of time a product is introduced to consumers into the market until it is removed from the shelves. So, it means product life cycle analysis or product life cycle concept is used as a factor in deciding when it is appropriate to increase advertising, reducing prices, expand to new markets or redesigning packaging. That means the product mix decisions that the marketer is going to make. In that product mix decision, this PLC or various stages of PLC which we will discuss plays a very important role. So, we can say that this life cycle of the entire product, you have launched the product, it is there in the market, it is welcomed in the market. So, initially it may take some time for the customers to accept it and to know about the product. And once they accept it, once the customers know about the product, they may welcome it. And when they welcome it, right, that means your sales are going to increase and it see the good phase of that market. And it is there for some period of time, then it reaches to maturity and it comes to an end also eventually. So, keeping that in mind, we can say that life cycle of a product is broken into 4 stages: introduction stage, growth stage, maturity stage and decline stage. What do we mean by introduction stage? When a product is introduced, see, in the new product development we have discussed that first of all there is new product idea, and after a certain process, there are certain processes to be followed, and after following those particular processes, the product is launched in the market, right? So, when the product is introduced and it struggles to gain brand recognition, that is introduction stage. It is launched, but it is not recognized properly. It will take some time to be recognized in the market. That is called as introduction stage. For example, self-driving car. It is there in the market, but it has still not caught up very properly. Next stage is growth stage. The second stage is growth stage. In this case, the product is being accepted in the market. It is being welcomed in the market. Now you have to, advertise it more and more, right? So that it reaches to its peak. For example, if you talk of electric car, we may say that it is in its growth stage. And then comes maturity stage. In maturity stage, what is happening? See, in growth stage, the sales of the product is rising, is increasing, and it is increasing at increasing rate. But at this case of maturity, the sales is still there. It is still rising, increasing, but it is not increasing at increasing rate, right? Say for example, and for that matter, and this is the stage, this is the most crucial, this is the most important stage, because here the marketer has to decide whether with certain modifications, can this be extended, can this maturity stage be extended? Because if it is not extended, it is eventually moved to decline stage. So, the trick here is with the marketer to extend the maturity stage as much as possible so that it does not go to decline stage immediately, right? And then comes decline stage when the product gets eclipsed by new products. The product is either phased out, or maybe there are certain modifications which is required in the product and it is differentiated and it takes a form of a new product. So, decline stage is basically the very old product, I mean the previous product which was introduced, it is now the time for it to be phased out, right. So, for example, if you talk of diesel cars, they are being phased out. So, if you try to see the product life cycle concept in a graphical representation, you will see like this, which you can see the slide behind me, right. So, introduction stage, sale is rising, it is being accepted in the market. In the growth stage, the sale is rising, right? The demand for your product is increasing at an increasing rate. At maturity stage, it is increasing, but not at that rate. The increase rate is not as fast as it was earlier in the growth rate. And if at that stage, if you wish as a marketer, with your marketing strategies, you can extend its stage and you can, delay the decline stage to come. Now let us discuss all these stages: introduction, growth, maturity and decline, one by one in a more elaborate manner. So what is in an introduction stage? Once a product has been developed, the first stage is its introduction stage. The product is being released into the market. Demand for the product has to be created. It is there in the market. You have to communicate to people that yes, the kind of product is there which you may like, right? So the demand for that particular product is still not there. You have to create that demand. Since you are still creating the demand, since the product is still not recognized in the market, the sales are low and it creep along slowly, right? How does it creep? The more you advertise, the more you make promotional efforts, people are getting to know about it and they may be turned into an actual customers, right? So at this stage, the costs are generally high in all the aspects. The cost of production is high because you're not producing in bulk. You are producing a limited batch just to see whether the product is accepted in the market or not, right? So the cost of production is also very high. The cost of promotion is also very high, right? Even the physical distribution, if I talk of, if you are using the channels, you have to pay certain discounts or incentives to the channel so that they promote your product. So even that cost is high. So the costs are generally high at this introduction stage. And when the costs are high and you cannot keep the prices also equally high because you still have to grab the customers, that means the profitability is, less, or you can say meager at this stage, at introduction stage. And now the principal aim, the main goal of this stage is to build demand for the product and to try to get the profitability. See, again, in this case, we will discuss it later, that in this case, there can be two options. Either you are a fully new to the world product, the product that you have launched in the market, if it is new to the world product, you get some advantages over here. But if it is not new to the world, if it is new to the company, then in that case, you have to make much more efforts, right? So in short, if we say what does introduction stage means, we can say it is a stage when the costs are very high, the sales volumes are less, there is either no competition or maybe little competition. If it is a new to the world product, there is no competition, right? Demand is still not there, it has to be created, and customers have to be prompted to try the product. They may have to be given incentives, and also the distribution channels may have to be given incentives, and makes little money at this stage. So that means this stage is not, with the viewpoint of profitability, this stage is not very profitable, right? What are the different strategies which is used in introduction stage? As we have discussed, that the product is just being launched in the market, it has to be communicated. That means you have to increase the promotional effort. And when I say increase, it has not only be communicated, but the customers, they also have to be given some incentives to buy that particular product, right? So in that case, your promotional expenses are high. Your advertisement and publicity of the product is very heavy. You advertise it heavily. And you also, as a marketer, try to give gifts to customer to allure them so that they come to your product, they accept your product. So sometimes this gifts may be in terms of already existing products that you were having, maybe in that form, or maybe you have to give discount to people to attract them. You also have to give incentives and discount to the dealers. And then, as I said, there can be two ways to look at it. If it is a new to the world product, that means there is no competition in the market and you are entirely new. It is a kind of innovation or invention. Then in that case, you have an opportunity, you have an advantage to skim the cream. So the pricing strategy that you can use in this case, if your product is new to the world, that you can use a skimming the cream pricing policy. That means initially you can price your commodities, you can price the products higher because there is no competitor in the market. There is a demand in the market that you have created now. So now the customers have no other option to go. If they want that product, they have to buy it from you only. So that ways, even if you are having higher prices, they'll come to you. So this is called skimming the cream pricing policy. The skimming the cream pricing policy we'll discuss later when we'll talk of pricing strategies of firms. But for the time being, you can understand like this. And then if the second option is, if the product that you have launched is not new to the world, it is only new to the company. Maybe the other companies are offering, right? And you have seen them, you have seen the success that other companies they have enjoyed, and now you also want to enter into that. So as a competitor, you are entering into the market. In that case, there is heavy competition in the market, you know. Then in that case, if you want to keep your prices high, it won't work. So then you have to adopt the penetrate the market policy, or the pricing strategy that you will adopt here is penetrating. Penetrating means initially you will price your product very, very low, so that it gets some time, you know, to the market, and at least people are having it. And once the product is accepted, once you are able to create that brand image amongst the customers, then maybe then you can gradually increase your prices by adding some more modifications in your products. In this case, the companies generally target early adopters and influential market leaders, right? You must be seeing that nowadays, since social media plays a very, very important role, you know, in the market, in the marketing strategies, to sometimes to influence companies, when they are launching a new product, they try to attract the influential bloggers. So they may offer free products to those bloggers and ask them to review it on their social media platform. And once they review it, and if the reviews are good, that means their, you know, followers, they can become your customers. So this is also one of the strategies which is adopted by the companies. Firms need to find willing suppliers who are willing to stock. Since you are new in the market, even the distribution channels that you're going to use, even they, you know, need to be convinced. So you have to make much more efforts in identifying those suppliers or those channel people, the pipelines who are willing to stock your product. As we have said, this introduction stage, it may not always be profitable. It can be profitable again if your product is new to the world product. If it is entirely new, it is a kind of innovation, right? Innovation also, which is in a way invention, then yes, you can have profitability because you can have skimming the cream pricing policy. But in most of the cases, when it is not new to the world, which is very rare product, then in that case, the profitability is less because costs are high and revenue is relatively low. That is why the profitability is also less at that stage. So as a marketer, you should not look for profitability at this stage. At this stage, your concentration should be on, you know, creating brand image, creating brand recognition, and creating the demand for the product that you have offered in the market. Now comes the second stage, which is called as growth stage. At this stage, your product is already accepted by the customers. It is already welcomed. The demand is already created, right? And since the demand is created, that means there is a high demand for your product. And when there is a high demand for your product, that means your sales are eventually going to increase. So the size of total market expands rapidly in this stage, right? And as the market expands, when the market expands, your profitability is also higher. How come it is higher? Because since you are producing more, you are churning the benefits of large-scale economies. When you produce more, with the increase in volume of production of a product, the cost of production of that particular product comes down. And when the cost is coming down and revenues are more, that means you have a good profitability. So that means you have profitability here. Seeing you grow in the market, there may be many, you know, competitors who wants to enter into the market just to, you know, take share in your success. Whatever success you are getting in that particular product, they would jump into the market. They would either imitate and make carbon copies of your product, or maybe with certain modifications, with some differentiation, they'll again enter in the market with their kind of products. That means your competition is also increasing at this stage. And when the competition increases, again, the most likely things which is going to be affected, or 4Ps which is going to be affected at this stage, is prices. Because then you have to keep an eye of the, you know, pricing decision that the competitor is having, right? Marketing in this stage is aimed at increasing the product's market share. That is why it is also called as take-off stage. The product is now, it has taken off, right? In this case, if you see, the costs are reduced. Why? Again, as we have discussed, because you are able to churn the economies of scale. You are produced, since the Demand is more, the sales is more, you are producing more. And when you are producing more, your cost is less. The sales volume increases significantly and the repeat buying takes place. There were already the buyers who have accepted your product in the introduction stage. Now they are happy, they are delighted customers and they are making repeat buyings also, right? That is why the profitability begins to rise. And when the profitability begins to rise, that more and more people are using it, then public awareness also increases. So word of mouth, publicity, that is also there. At this stage, as a characteristic, if you see, the competition also increases and increased competition leads to price decreases. So keeping this in mind, what kind of strategy as a marketer would you formulate? Would be advertisement and publicity of product, that you have to keep on doing. Because you are there, you have to create that, you have to position your product in the market in a way that whenever that utility comes to the mind of consumers, the name that comes to their mind is yours. So advertisement and publicity of the product is important at this stage. So you have to make expenses in those terms. Incentive schemes may be offered to stimulate more people to try the product. Maybe the new customers, if they are there, then in that case you may give some incentives. For example, I'll give you an example that there is an online store which is called as iTokri. So when you buy things from them, so initially at your first purchase, they'll send you with the product, along with the product, they'll send you a small gift with that and a handwritten note that you are a very valuable customer to us and I hope you would like the product and likewise and keep shopping with us. So these kinds of incentives, even at the growth stage, what is doing? It is positioning your product. So whenever the customer tries to think of buying a product in that line, he or she will go for that particular brand only. New versions of the products are introduced to cater to the requirements of different types of customers. At this stage, many times it happens, the product is already accepted and now you see that there are prospective customers who would like to have certain, other variants of the same product. Then in that case, maybe some new versions of the same product you may introduce to the market so that you are grabbing those customers also. And you are trying to stop them from going to the competitors, right? At this stage, the strategy regarding the channels of distribution would be that channels of distribution are strengthened so that the product is easily available wherever required. Why it is important? Because competitors have entered into the market and for any reason, if any of your channels, they are not having your product, they don't have a stock of your product, immediately the competitor products would be showed to them and the customers can buy the competitor's product. So in this case, you have to give proper attention to the channel of distributions also and you have to strengthen them. And the stock, easy availability of stock, you have to ensure in those particular channels. You may have to open new distribution channels and retail outlets also. And the price of product is competitive. There is greater emphasis on customer service because now you have positioned your product in the market. The competitors are also there to beat them. To meet that competition, you are giving more emphasis on your customer service again so that customers prefers you to other competitors. And the firm needs to capitalize on growth to extend product sales from small retailers to big supermarkets. Now you're shifting also. And then firms can make change marketing from niche areas to a more mass market. Initially, at the introduction stage, when you had a limited, batch of production of the particular market, then you were targeting a particular niche market only, a particular area only. Now you're going for a mass marketing. You are making it available to the entire market, right? And then firm can adapt to consumer feedback and offer new features or better customer support. At this stage, customer feedback becomes also very, very important. And it is very important, necessary to take their feedback and work on that so that you can retain your customers. We have already discussed in previous sessions that customer retention cost is much less than customer acquisition cost. So you don't want to go back to that introduction phase again. You have to churn the benefits at this stage. So even the small feedback that the customer is giving you, you have to work upon. You have to promptly act upon that, right? Now comes maturity stage. So at this stage, the growth is already there and it's still growing, but the rate of growth is maybe not that high as it was in the case of growth stage. So it begins to lose consumer appeal for many reasons. maybe the competitor those have entered into the market, they are, you know, doing it more successfully, or maybe they are preferred. So in that case, and of course, as we have discussed that the market, you know, is very dynamic in nature. So the taste and preferences of the customers also changes. So if you are not able to, you know, match your pace with that, then in that case, maybe you come to that maturity stage very soon. In this case, costs are decreased as a result of production volumes. Again, since you were in the growth stage and you were producing the commodities in bulk, so you were churning the benefits of large scale economy and you are still churning it. So the costs are less. But your sales may drop at this stage, right? At this point, either you can see the kind of drop in the sale, or even it may, you know, be increasing as I said, but at not that rate at which is what increasing at growth rate. So a kind of saturation is reached now, and no more distribution pipelines need to be filled, because you have already in the growth stage, you have already filled all the distribution channels. You have already filled your stocks in all the, you know, pipelines which are available in distribution channels. And at this stage, price competition become intense. Now, if you want to be appealing to the consumers, then you may have to lower the prices vis-a-vis the price of the competitor, so that the consumers who were not earlier coming to you may also come to you. So why I say this is a very, very critical stage, because as a marketer, you know, if you make efforts, then maybe you can extend this stage to a bit, that the decline stage will come after some time. Otherwise, if you don't take proper care at this particular stage, your decline stage will seep in very soon, right? So maturity stage is very, very critical, and it is very, very important. And here is the point when you have to make the decision whether you would gradually phase out the existing product because it has not remained the same profitable, or maybe you would like to make changes in the architecture of the product so that it can be seen by the market as a new product, right? What are the strategies which is used in maturity stage? So product may be differentiated from the competitive products and brand image may be strengthened further. You have to reposition your product in the market if you want to extend it. And if you see the potential that you can extend the market, right? It depends. If you can see if as a marketer you can see the potential to extend it, you will make all the efforts. But if you see that there is no potential in that, then the decision will be to let it be phased out, right? Maybe reusable packaging may be introduced, new markets may be developed, and pricing at this stage can tend to get competitive to match or beat the competitors. Product modification and quality improvement strategies are adopted, and new uses of the product may be developed, and PLC extension is attempted. If you see that there is a potential, there is a possibility, you will try as a marketer, you will make an attempt to extend the maturity stage. And then comes decline stage, right? That eventually every product, it will come to a decline stage. Some products may take a little longer time. Some products may take as less time as maybe immediately after introduction if they fail. So this stage has to come. The only variation is the length, the time after which it comes, right? So in this stage, product sales drop significantly and consumer behavior changes as there is less demand for the product. The company's product loses more and more market share and competition tend to cause sales to deteriorate. So now, you are at decline stage and some other company may be at, at introduction stage, or maybe you only with certain other product, with certain, major modifications, with the change in the architecture of the product, you are launching it as a fresh product, as a new product. So it will start again from the introduction stage, right? Marketing in the decline stage is often minimal or targeted at already loyal customers and prices are reduced. What are the strategies which is used? You don't make much, efforts on the promotional activities if you see that there is not much potential available for this particular kind of product. So that expenses also you drop. New features maybe you can add if you want to extend even this decline stage. New features may be added to the product and its packaging may be made more attractive. Again, you try to give newness, a sense of newness to the existing product. Economy packs or models may be introduced to revive the market, and promotion of the product may be done on a selective basis targeted at already loyal customers to reduce the distribution cost. And maybe at this stage, you start planning for the new product development. Much ahead of this, you have started thinking of a new idea through which you can give you can change the architecture of a product, right? And you can introduce in the market as a new product development. Or maybe if you have thought of entirely phasing out that particular product, with the innovation in technology, you are introducing a new product to the market. So following these stages, eventually the product will be retired out of the market unless it is able to redesign itself to remain relevant or in demand. This is very, very important. If we try to see it with few examples, nowadays if you see the online education or maybe online healthcare, it was introduced long back, but with the current situation of pandemic, they're catching the market. And if the things, if the I would say many parents, even including me, may decide to opt for online education or online health services unless it is very, very important, or unless you feel that you are actually going to get some better benefit going offline, right? So that is the best example. And then in growth stage, if you talk of, you just see the AirPods, the wireless earphones which are being used. It has been in the market around for a few years, but now it is catching up gradually. So it is in growth stage. Likewise, the desktop personal computers which were having CPU or different CPU and various input devices, they are kind of at this stage of maturity. Now it is being taken over by the even desktop which are having everything inbuilt, which does not have input devices separately, or the laptops are taking place, or maybe iPads. And decline stage, if you see CD players, DVD players, before that the floppy disk was there. Once they were the hot cake, now they are out of the market, they are phased out, and now USB drives and hard disks, they are taking place, right? We'll quickly see what are the different kind of marketing mix which is used. Product decision, price decision, distribution decision and promotion decision at various stages of product life cycle. So in the introduction stage, the product is one or few products and relatively undifferentiated. You are introducing in the market either one product or maybe few, some variants of the same particular product, maybe a line or maybe one product line which we have discussed already in the previous sessions, or maybe one or two product lines, right? So one or few products which is relatively undifferentiated. In terms of pricing, again, you can either have skimming the cream policy or you can have penetration. Again, if your product is new to the world, it is a radical innovation, you can have skimming the cream pricing policy. But if your product is not new, it is not new for you, it is already there in the market, you are just trying to take benefit of the companies who are already having advantage or already taking benefit of that product, then in that case you have to adopt penetration pricing strategy, right, wherein you are keeping the prices low just to grab the market. In terms of distribution decision, in this case, at introduction stage, the distribution is selective and scattered. Why I say selective? What is selective distribution? When you use few selected, pipelines of distribution or few selected channels of distribution, it is called selective distribution. So since the demand is still not there and you are creating the demand, so your distribution channel is also selective. Once your demand is created at next stage, maybe it can be intensive, right? In terms of promotional decisions, you have to make more and more efforts in promotional decisions. So you have to spend more here, you have to make more promotions to create brand awareness, and then you to create brand image, right? Now the second stage, your product, you have, your product is since already been accepted in the market. So what you are doing, you are trying to work on the feedback of the customers and you are trying to see to fill the gap. We have discussed, product line filling the gap of a product line in previous sessions. So here at this stage, you may want to fill the gap. So by making certain changes in the features of the product, you can fill that gap. You can make the packaging options also change, and then you can keep on improving the product quality also, so that you are making it different from the competitors. Because at this introduction stage, there might not be competitors, or there might be less competitors. But at growth stage, as we have discussed, that competitors will enter into the market. So in that case, you have to keep a focus on the product quality. And then price level, if you see, if you are having the skimming the cream pricing policy earlier in the introduction stage, Now you have reached to that growth stage, and then you have to maintain, that price if the demand is actually high and still there is no competitor in the market. But maybe in certain cases, if you want to expand your market share, if you want to increase your market share, then you may or you can reduce the prices of the particular commodity also, right? And then if you talk of distribution channels, as against at introduction stage we were using selective distribution, here at this stage the marketers, they would use intensive distribution. That means trying to fill all the pipelines which is available in the distribution channel. So you are trying to grab all the distribution channels and you are trying to make availability of your products at each and every channel. So that is called intensive. You are not selective, you are not being selective, you are spreading it all across. So that is intensive distribution strategy. Trade discounts are minimal if resellers show a strong interest in the product, and if the resellers, if they don't see at this stage, generally the resellers, they show strong interest. So you may not have to give much discounts to the channel persons. And then promotion, in terms of promotion, in this stage, at this stage also you have to increase, you have to keep that level of promotion high, because you have created the brand awareness, you are positioning it now, and you are trying to build brand preference, because competitors are there. So customers, they don't have to like your brand only, but they have to prefer your brand also. So you have to create brand preference, so that for that you need to make expenses, right? Spend in promotion also. Then comes maturity stage. At this stage, modifications are made and features are added in order to differentiate the product from the competing products that may have been introduced, right? You are trying to make product differentiation. You are working on the feedback. You are promptly working on the feedback of the customers, right? And then pricing decision, possible price reductions in response to competition while avoiding a price war. So competitors have entered into the market. They are now offering a low price because they want to grab the market share. So to meet that or to beat that competition, you may have to reduce the price here. Distribution channels, in terms of distribution channels, you may have to look out, you may have to explore the new distribution channels, and incentives, you have to give incentives to the resellers in order to avoid losing shelf space. And at this stage also, emphasis on differentiation and building of brand loyalty is important. So here also you are making expenditures and you are trying to give incentives to get competitors' customers to switch. You want the competitors' customers to switch to your product. So you are trying to give incentives to the customers and also incentives to the channel people, so that they are also promoting your product when customers come to their stores. And then the fourth stage, that is decline stage, the number of products in the product line may be reduced, because you may have to phase out the unprofitable product. You are phasing it out. Or you may rejuvenate surviving products to make them look new again, as we have discussed earlier. In terms of pricing, prices may be lowered. And then in terms of distribution decision, distribution becomes more selective now, and promotional expenditures are lower, because you have already thought of phasing that product out. So you won't make any expenditure there now. This product life cycle concept is based on certain assumptions. We'll quickly see that assumptions. What are those assumptions? One is the products have a limited life, and thus every product has a life cycle. It is assumed that every product has a life cycle. The product sales passes through distinct stages, each posing different challenges, opportunities and problems to the seller. And products require different marketing, financing, manufacturing, purchasing and human resource strategies in each life cycle stage. As we have discussed, even we are talking of promotional marketing mix. So the 4 P's of marketing mix, the decisions related to that, they are different in different stages. We'll quickly see what are the important aspects to know about the product life cycle. See, first of all, the first important point that you have to keep in mind as a marketer when you are doing PLC analysis is the length of the 4 stages. As I said, from introduction to growth to maturity to decline. So the time that the one product is spending on a particular stage, it varies from product to product. It varies from market to market. Maybe in a particular product, the product is failed. But in the new market, the product is being accepted. The product is gaining some kind of, welcome in the market. So it varies from product to product. It does not remain same. Again, every product may not have to pass through all the life cycles that it has. It may not have to pass through all 4 stages of life cycle. Some products may be, may be declined at the immediately after they are introduced in the market. So they may not have to go through growth or maturity stage. And for some product, you may not see the maturity stage. They are in the growth stage, but that stage is longer. So see, the whole management concept, there is no hard and fast rule. It all depends on the situation. It all depends on the contingency that is happening in the market. A quick bite, if I would like to give to you, is the length and slope of the market development stage depend on the product's complexity, its degree of newness, its fit into the customer needs, and the presence of competitive substitutes. And whatever we have discussed, and the most important thing is, as I said, it varies from, the length of the stage varies from product to product. Like suppose some product is related to fashion items. So it will quickly catch up the market and it can quickly fade away also. It can quickly be phased out also. But there are certain commodities, there are certain products which is there in a particular stage for a longer duration of time. Say for example, if you're talking of construction material, they may take time to catch hold of the market, but once they are there in the market, they'll be there for a longer period of time, right? And as I have said that all the 4 stages are not necessarily to be there for all kinds of market. The greatest example would be approved COVID-19 vaccine. It would require virtually no market development. As soon as it is there in the market, it would get massive support. Growth, then introduction, then growth, then mature. It won't come. The moment it is introduced, the growth will come. The growth stage will be there because it will get massive support. So now let us quickly sum up what all we have discussed in the class. We have discussed that every product that is introduced in the market, it has to pass through the stages of life cycle, the 4 stages of life cycle. Not necessarily the 4, but it has to pass some stages. Different strategies are used by the markets in different stages, and all the products not necessarily pass through all the 4 stages. So with this, I am ending this session. See you next session. Happy learning.